द वे फॉरवर्ड इज ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੋਸਟ ਹਰਜੋਤ ਸਿੰਘ। ਪਿਛਲੇ ਹਫ਼ਤਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿਰਸੇ ਨੂੰ, ਆਪਣੇ ਆਰਟਸ ਨੂੰ, ਆਪਣੇ ਲਿਟਰੇਚਰ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੀਜ਼ਰਵ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਪ੍ਰਮੋਟ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜੋ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਦਾ ਰੋਲ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਤੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹਨ, ਨਾਨ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਿਟ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨਸ, ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨਸ, ਟਰਸਟ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਐਕਟਿਵ ਰੋਲ ਪਲੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਏਗਾ। ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਏਗਾ। ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਕਈ ਐਸੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹਨ, ਕਈ ਐਸੀ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹਨ ਜੋ ਪਰਟੀਕੂਲਰ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਤੇ ਬੜਾ ਹੀ ਉਗਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੀ ਪਈ ਹਨ। ਕੁਝ ਵੀਕਸ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦ ਸਿੱਖ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਜੋ ਆਰਟਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਰਟਸ ਐਂਡ ਫਿਲਮ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ। ਸਿੱਖ ਆਰਟਸ ਐਂਡ ਫਿਲਮ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੜਾ ਹੀ ਇਫੈਕਟਿਵ ਮੀਡੀਅਮ, ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੀਡੀਅਮ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਅਡੋਪਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਐਂਡ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਲਚਰ ਨੂੰ, ਆਪਣੀ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ, ਆਪਣੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਮੀਡੀਅਮ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ ਹਨ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਰਵੀ ਅਰੋੜਾ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਮਨਦੀਪ ਸੋਪਤੀ ਜੀ। ਰਵੀ ਜੀ, ਮਨਦੀਪ ਜੀ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ।
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ।
ਮਨਦੀਪ ਜੀ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਰਟ ਐਂਡ ਫਿਲਮ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੁਝ ਦੱਸੋ। ਇਹ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਦ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਚਾਹੀ ਔਰ ਕਿਨ ਆਬਜੈਕਟਿਵਸ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਬਣਾਈ ਗਈ?
ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਗੱਲ ਤੇ I would like to say ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਬੜਾ ਇਟਸ ਜਸਟ ਦ ਰਾਈਟ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੈਗਾ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਜੂਕੇਟ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਰਾਈਟਸ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ। You always have to be NGO and lot of times they have to be grassroots organizations. So after 9/11 ਕਾਫੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਕਾਫੀ 9/11 ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਭਰੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਲਰੈਫ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਸਿੱਖ ਕੋਲੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ, ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸਿੱਖਸ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਕਾਫੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਦੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਜੂਕੇਟ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਰਾਈਟਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਕਟ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਰਟਸ ਐਂਡ ਫਿਲਮ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਾਸ ਆਲਸੋ ਵਨ ਆਫ the result of all that active community aggressiveness to teach people about Sikhs. So this is a sada 15th year hai Sikh Art and Film Foundation da. So this is our 15th year that we are in existence. And it's very interesting that Guru Nanak Dev Ji da 550ਵਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਰਸੀ ਬਣਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ Sikh Art and Film Foundation ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਗਜ਼ੀਬਿਸ਼ਨ ਸੀਗੀ, that was an exhibition called I See No Strangers, and which was on this Guru Nanak Dev Ji's thing that ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਮਾਨਸ ਕੀ ਜਾਤ ਸਭੇ ਕੋ ਸਮਾਨ ਹੈ। And this was held in Rubin Museum of Arts, and it was in collaboration with Donald and Shelley Rubin, and they helped us get this exhibition started. And Teji Bindra, who is the founder of this foundation, and also they started a chair of Sikh studies at Hofstra University. And this all started basically together. And the whole idea was the most strongest and the best way to educate people is through visuals, movies. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਤਲਬ 3 ਘੰਟੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਯਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹੇਗੀ, ਹੈ ਨਾ। ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ 3 ਘੰਟੇ ਦੀ ਮੂਵੀ ਦਿਖਾ ਦਿਓ ਤੇ ਉਹ 50, 60, 70% ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਰਿਟੇਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖੇਗਾ। ਸੋ ਦਿਸ ਹੋਲ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਰਟ ਐਂਡ ਫਿਲਮ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਸਟਾਰਟਡ ਫਰਮ ਦੈਟ ਐਸਪੈਕਟ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ, ਸਿੱਖੀ ਕਲਚਰ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ, ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਦਿਖਾ ਕੇ ਐਜੂਕੇਟ ਕਰੀਏ ਕਿ who we Sikhs are. Teji likes to give this story a lot of times that he was having a conversation with some friend of his who is Jewish, and he was educating the person that, do you know that Sikhi is the 5th largest religion in the world? And the guy was like, well, I never knew that. I thought Jews are the 5th largest religion in the world. And actually there are more Sikhs in the world than Jews. But people don't even know that Sikhs are the 5th largest religion in the world. So that's what he said. That's the whole idea of us educating. So not only we show movies, Sikhi de bare movies, but we've also funded a lot of movies about Sikhi. We part of the movie that, you know, apne Sarab Neelam the movie see, you know,
Ocean of Pearls.
Ocean of Pearls.
Yeah,
We funded part of that movie. We funded a movie about Sikh warriors in World War I and World War II. We funded, even this time the movies we're showing, there are 2 or 3 different movies that we have partially funded, and we have our name out there as a foundation that je tusi movies Sikhi de bare bana rahe ho. So you reach out to the foundation and they will fund the movies.
So ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਦਿਖਾਉਣ ਦੀ how is that carried? Is that the film festival that we are having the next week?
Hanji, Hanji. So Ravi, you want to talk a little bit?
So the leadership we have for film festival.
So yeah, the film festival is that film festival, as I said, you know, it started 15 years ago, and we initially used to have the film festival in Hofstra, and then we moved and we had a partnership with Hofstra University, and then we moved it to New York City. So film festival ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਐਂਡ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਫਿਲਮਸ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਵਰਲਡ ਤੋਂ ਹਰ ਪਾਸੇ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ,
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ,
and Sikhs and non-Sikhs, you know, all kind of denominations, people have made movies about Sikhs, and we show those movies, and there's a very wide variety, and there's a lot of diversity in these movies about not only about Sikh faith itself, but how Sikh culture is thriving all over the world. Last year we had movies from Canada, from Italy about Sikhs who are making cheese in Italy. As saal jehdiyan movies sade kol Australia to movies aayiyan ne. We have movies from Pakistan who are made by Pakistani people, and they made movies on Guru Nanak, and we have movies from that. We have movies from Canada. We have movies from England. We have movies from you know, West Coast, East Coast, so from India. So we are working with a lot of different people on movies, and also. Just around Tanu Pataga, Mandeep Singh, he's making movies. He made 2 movies about the Gurdwaras in Pakistan. Right? We funded part of that movie, and we sold a lot of those books. He was one of our chief guests last year, and his movie was the premiere about the Gurdwara jehde Pakistan de movies banaiyan ne. Now he's making a movie about Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Udasis.
ਮਨਦੀਪ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ 'ਚ ਅੱਗੇ ਹੋਰ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ. ਇਟ ਅਪੀਅਰਸ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸਕੋਪ ਆਫ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਉਸਦੇ 'ਚ ਸਿਰਫ ਇਹ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਦਿਖਾਣਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਯੂ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਪ੍ਰਮੋਟ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਆਫ ਦੋਜ਼ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼, ਯੂ ਫੰਡ ਦੋਜ਼ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼, ਯੂ ਫੰਡ ਇਟ ਸੀਮਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ ਲਿਟਰੇਚਰ. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋਗੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੁਝ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ 'ਚ?
बिल्कुल, आई थिंक you know, जिस तरह मनदीप जी ने किया है, so it's very important कि the young artists, especially the youngsters of today, they get the right level of support and backing to be able to produce, because you know there's a lot of talent that exists out there. They as karke the Sikh Art and Film Foundation, khas karke on the, you know, on the film festival or promotion of art, the backing is given and inviting. You know, we invite people to submit, you know, their ideas, their concepts. They us concept nu leke, then you know there's a group that studies it and sees, okay, these are great projects, so let's go and you know, provide the right level of support, so that way these independent filmmakers, खास करके ਜਿਹੜੇ independent filmmakers ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ foundation support ਕਰ ਸਕੇਗੀ. So ਇਹ ਬੜਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਾਇਨੇ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ.
Yeah, and a lot of young people, we have our name out there. A lot of young people, when they want to make movies, ਸਾਨੂੰ right away contact ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ we are making movies, we are going to India, or we going to Pakistan.
These are young people all over the world.
All over the world, yeah. We had last year, we had Joel, who actually ran for parliament in England. He made a movie about Saragadi. So we funded part of that movie, and he came in, and not only we encourage them about them making the movies, but we also bring them in as guests. And after the movies are finished, we have a Q&A session, and people actually get to ask them questions about, you know, what is their inspiration, what are the challenges, what are the different things that they go through. So it's a very involved and exciting.
And we understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. And I was going to say, and I think the beauty is also कि जिस तरह how the film festival, the movie are broken into 3 different segments.
Yes.
Right. So then, at one time it was okay, especially focused on young children, or so taking different themes and breaking it into different slots.
Yeah. So we'll talk about more.
Yeah,
We'll talk more about that. I understand this film festival, there's another aspect to it, which is the Leadership Summit. We'll talk more about that after a short break. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ The Way Forward. The Way Forward ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਫਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੋਸਟ ਹਰਜੋਤ ਸਿੰਘ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਰਵੀ ਅਰੋੜਾ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਔਰ ਮਨਦੀਪ ਸੋਪਤੀ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਰਟਸ ਐਂਡ ਫਿਲਮ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਲੁਕ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਨੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਸਿੱਖ ਐਂਡ ਆਰਟ ਫਿਲਮ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਇੱਕ ਐਨੂਅਲ ਫਿਲਮ ਫੈਸਟੀਵਲ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ 2 ਪਾਰਟਸ ਹਨ। ਪਹਿਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਇੱਕ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਸਮਿਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦਿਨ ਕੁਝ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਦਿਖਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ 'ਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਰਵੀ ਜੀ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇਹ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਸਮਿਟ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਕੀ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਆਬਜੈਕਟਿਵਸ ਹਨ?
Sure. So Harjot ji, thank you ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੁਲਾਉਣ ਦਾ। ਤੇ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮਨਦੀਪ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਆਰਟ ਐਂਡ ਫਿਲਮ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਇਸ ਈਅਰ they are celebrating 15th year of the film festival. So roughly the leadership summit started later, in 2011. ਤੇ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ actually ਸਾਡਾ 9th annual leadership summit ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ next week on Friday, November 8th. ਤੇ back in 2011, they already the Sikh Art Film Foundation programming activities were underway in a big way. They ਅਸੀਂ within the community itself, we were thinking that we need that opportunity, ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਡੇ young generation ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਕਿ that there are so many opportunities available ਜਿਹੜੇ diaspora ਵਾਸਤੇ, to pursue a variety of disciplines. Whether you want to go into music, into arts, culture, you want to be a business person, you want to be an entrepreneur. ਇੰਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ opportunities available ਨੇ, but ਕਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ role models ਨੇ? Who do we get there together, and ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ facilitate ਕਰੀਏ that a forum or a venue ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ we can bring youngsters together, along with young professionals, maybe college-going kids, even high school level of children, and to have exposure to different people who have done exceptionally well, or it's not just about doing well, but who have pursued with passion different disciplines. And so as a leadership summit, it came together with that idea, okay, let us create that forum and that environment where it allows for networking, jithe sare milke we can get inspired by the journeys of our different ਅਸੀਂ panel sessions ਕਰਨੇ ਆ, ਤੇ panels with usually 4 or 5 individuals, with a moderator. So ਉਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ we try to get the stories, and the idea is to get inspired by the different paths and the different journeys that our leaders have taken who come to the panel summit. And I'll be very happy to share with you what are some of the themes who have come and so forth.
That's very important. That's very inspiring for the youth. That's where they find their role models. You said that you'll tell us some of the themes that you have used at the path. Can ਦੱਸੋਗੇ ਕੁਝ ਕਿਨ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼?
Sure. So ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ nexus ਹੈ ਨਾ between diversity, between mentorship, between leadership, community service, all of that is very important in shaping one own value system, and how do we give back and serve and be model citizens in the community.
ਜਿਨ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਨ ਗੈਸਟ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ, are they mostly from the community, or they can be anyone?
They can be anyone. In fact, the idea is ਜੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਹੀ अपने बारे में सिर्फ गल करिए, then we are not really spreading the message of who are the Sikhs. So I'll give you an example. कुछ साल पहला we did a session in partnership with the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York.
In Long Island, JCRC.
And JCRC, right? So JCRC now asi kita where we had a panel of two Jewish members and two members from our community, and and to moderate that, we had a lady. She was she is a former ambassador, Indian ambassador to the US on this Arun Singh, unadi wife sige, and she was an ethnographer who had written a book on being Indian and being Jewish. Right, so and drawing parallels ki by sade cultures, how do we go together? What are the roots of our history? Now, if you look at it, even both communities, the want, what do they want to do well in the community? Want our younger generation to do well? How do we inspire, move them forward? There's a lot of parallels to be drawn.
There's a lot of similarities.
And similarities to be drawn. Right. So we have so now a mix of panels. We've had Richard Liu, Richard Louis is a MSNBC broadcaster.
He's a Chinese American.
No, he's a Chinese American, Asian American. He came and he moderated a session one day. We've had Joyce Dubinsky.
Last year. Yeah.
So last year she came and she moderated the panel. So we've had a lot of different, and a theme har saal, starting right from 2011. So going back to kyun asi start kita. And it was, like I mentioned, to bring that forum together. So even Shri Ajay Banga, who is the president and CEO of MasterCard, he's a patron of the C. Carton Film Foundation. Along with, there are other patrons like former Indian ambassador to the United States, Sardar Navtej Singh Sarna, and so there are other patrons also. But for the Leadership Summit, in fact, Mr. Banga, he has been a very steadfast supporter of hosting and making sure and being a co-sponsor of the Leadership Summit. Along with, we have gotten organizations and companies like Cushman and Wakefield who have come and being a very steadfast supporter of the Leadership Summit, because they see the value of what this forum provides, especially to motivate our younger generation. So over the years, we've had topics like, how do you inspire and develop the next generation of leaders? How do you go beyond your comfort zone? So it's important, how do you go, maybe I'm just doing this and I know this, but for leadership, how do you go beyond your comfort zone in pursuit of excellence? The power of branding yourself in storytelling, because it's important for everybody that how do you shape yourself and tell your own story, and for advancing as a leader. In the digital age that we live in, how do you have leadership in the digital age, and how do you co-create yourself and look at it? So there are different themes, and इस साल ਅਸੀਂ जो theme रखा है, it is around leadership principles of doing well by doing good.
Doing well by doing good. ਅਸੀਂ ਰਵੀ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕੰਟੀਨਿਊ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟੀ ਜੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ। ਦ ਵੇ ਫਾਰਵਰਡ ਇਸ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਫਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ। ਰਵੀ ਜੀ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਸਮਿਟ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਥੀਮ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ
Doing well by doing good.
Doing well by doing good. ਮਨਦੀਪ ਜੀ ਇਸ ਫੈਸਟੀਵਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਦਿਖਾਈ ਜਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ?
So ऐसा जड़ा we always हर साल जड़ा film festival we break it down into 3 parts. So इस साल जड़ा आएगा we have first part is it's all about woman empowerment.
Okay.
So those movies are about women. There's a Style with Core. There's She is Strong. There's a winner of Peace. Jutti Kasuri about a woman who played a big role in peach farming and starting 100 years ago. And there's a movie called Baby. Right, and then the second set is there's a second which is from 1 to 3. 1 ਵਜੇ ਦੁਪਹਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 3 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ 4 ਵਜੇ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 6 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ is the second session which is in the footsteps of Guru Nanak, which is made by Nilofer Afridi, and she made a film about where Guru Nanak was born. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was born in Talwandi to Kartarpur Sahib, and they followed and they retraced the footsteps of Guru Nanak, and they made a movie on that. Very, very interesting movie. And then there's a movie called Coin Mafia, and this is a movie about Sikh coins, how a guy became very informed about the Sikh coins, and he started collecting them. And there's a coin mafia who's trying to take those coins away from them so they can copy these coins and sell them fraudulently. Right? Hanji. And then there's a movie called Knitted Beliefs, which is about a community called Narayanpur in Karachi, where Hindus, Muslims, Christians, and Sikhs live together. And it's a very unique example of people living together and believing in something, right? And there's no fights going on, and it's as a community. And the last movie is and there's also a movie called about where the two rivers meet, about Sikhs in Pakistan and Sikhs in India.
So you have these movies from all over the world.
All over the world.
कितने टाइम दी movies?
So जो second segment है वो हैगा 4 ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 6 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ.
जी.
Right? And then the last movie is a premiere, which is about Guru Nanak, and the movie is called Founder of Sikhism and Life and Legacy. And the movie is made by Gerald and Adam Krell, and it's a very critically acclaimed movie.
Yes.
And this movie is about educating people about Guru Nanak, who he was. Sadhanu te pata Guru Nanak Dev Ji kaun sige, but the world does not know about him. And these Americans, they found him so fascinating that they made this big movie about that. And there's a lot of this movie is getting a lot of notoriety and is becoming very famous. So we are premiering that movie at the film festival this year.
I think it's one of the most talked about movies at the moment, and this movie was recently premiered in Los Angeles.
Yes, and by the way, Gerald and Adam Krell will be there for Q&A session.
Oh, they'll be there themselves?
Yes, and audience can ask sawal jawab kar sakte hain, and what was their fascination about this. And Sardar Rajwant Singh is going to be there, who just started a very big digital campaign about Guru Nanak. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting premiere session. Yes.
ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਐਸੇ ਐਫਰਟਸ ਹਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰੀਏ। ਇਹ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਚਲਾਉਣ ਲਈ, ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ, ਇਹ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਮਾਇਆ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਿਸੋਰਸਿਸ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਹਨ, ਐਂਡ ਇਹ ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹ ਦੇ ਕੈਨਟ ਡੂ ਇਟ ਵਿਦਆਊਟ ਦ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਆਫ ਦ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ।
And खास करके Harjot ji, from to that point, like जरा leadership summit है इस साल we have a fantastic panel. We have the Ravi Singh of Khalsa Aid. ते तुसी अपना देखो गुरतेज संधू है ने, who is with Micron Technology. ते ओ he has the distinction of over 1,300 patents to his name, more than Thomas Edison, right? We have Siddharni Inni Kaur, who is a poet, a writer. She's a creative director of Sikh Research Institute. We have Navneet Kaur Bhalla, who is the executive director of Manvi. Manvi does a lot of work. She's a lawyer on social justice issues. They do a lot of work in preventing against domestic violence, especially around South Asian and women empowerment. So, and it is being moderated by Ashmita Yogiraj of Just Broadcasting as well. So I think at the panel, so the idea is that, from Sikh Arts and Film Foundation, the invitation is, please come to our website, register, because it's a 2-day event. A lot of effort has gone in by a lot of people, only to bring it to the community.
And one last thing I want to say, because I know we're running out of time, is that if you have any students who are up to high school, not college students, up to high school, their admission is free. And they don't pay for anything for Leadership Summit. They don't pay anything for Film Festival.
Sure.
And normally their ticket pricing are like $5 a session or $20 for the whole day.
And where do they get these tickets?
They can go on website, which is sikharts.com.
sikharts.com. इथों तुसी tickets खरीद सकते हो। असी तोनु encourage करदे हां, असी urge करदे हां कि तुसी इस event में जरूर participate करो। जिवें तोनु दस्या कि Leadership Summit विच बड़े ही acclaimed and recognized people उसदे च आ रहे हैं, you interact with them, you learn from them, and these movies they involve a lot of research, कई चीज़ां जो सानू आप नहीं पता और ਅਸੀਂ दूसरी communities ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦਸੀਏ, ਅਸੀਂ दूसरी communities ਦੇ members ਨੂੰ ਇਸ festival ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈਏ। ਰਵੀ ਜੀ, ਮਨਦੀਪ ਜੀ, ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਐਗਜ਼ੈਕਟਲੀ ਇਹ ਫੈਸਟੀਵਲ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਹੈਗਾ ਔਰ ਕੀ ਟਾਈਮਿੰਗਸ ਹਨ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਸਾਡੀ ਆਡੀਅנס ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ।
So leadership summit.
Sure. Both Leadership Summit and the Film Festival, same location which है. It is being held at the Paley Center for Media, and the Paley Center for Media is located in New York City, in Manhattan, 25 West 52nd Street. So at Frank Bennett Theatre karke hai within the Paley Center for Media. Both days are programmed November 8th from 6 to 9 p.m. and November 9th Saturday from 1 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. So
and also we have refreshments that are going to be served there.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
Yeah.
I've had them before, they're lovely.
Oh, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ।
Thank you for having us.
ਇਹ ਸੀਗਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆਨੰਦ ਮਾਣੋਗੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਫੈਸਟੀਵਲ ਅਟੈਂਡ ਕਰੋਗੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਦ ਵੇ ਫਾਰਵਰਡ।